Hello and welcome to the Saved by Grace podcast. I'm your host, Ava, and you're listening to the Saved by Grace podcast. Today we are going to be talking about evangelism and the impact that can have on somebody's life. And I would just like to share a story from my church just to put everything in perspective. So one of our campuses happens to be at a school, so they have to sit there and set up everything, and so this guy was setting up these little flags being like, hey, we have church at blah 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 school. And this guy is driving down the road in his pickup truck, and he's like, what are you doing? Why are you putting these flags up on the side of the road? And this guy says, well, I'm setting up for church. We have church just at blah, blah, blah high school. And he's like, hey, do you want to go with me? And the guy in the pickup truck is like, sure, why not? I'll go. And so they drive up to the church, and he walks into the auditorium. He sits down. At the end of that service, he actually ends up giving his life to Jesus. Then he starts going consistently to the church and starts serving at the doors, like opening doors up for people. And it's about a month later, and our church was having baptism, and he's like, what is a baptism? What does that mean? And the person running with the booth was like, oh, it's just showing everyone that you have dedicated your life to Jesus and you decided to follow him, and having everyone celebrate that awesome thing in your life, giving your life to Jesus. And he's like, awesome, sign me up. So he gets baptized. They film it. They ask him, hey, can we put this on social media? And he's like, sure, yeah. So they put it on Facebook, and it gets over 10,000 views, whatever. And half the comments were, what is baptism? And it just got me thinking, how many people don't know what baptism is? And I'm thinking, then people must not know who Jesus is. It's crazy. Just think about that for a minute. How many people don't know who Jesus is? And half of us are too scared to tell them who Jesus is. And let this story be a reminder that small things can have big impacts. I mean, it changed this guy's life completely around. He didn't know Jesus. Someone said, hey, do you want to come to church with me? And now he is fully worshiping the Lord every Sunday at my church. So that just shows you that all it takes is like one invitation to change someone's life completely around forever. And all you have to do is say, hey, would you like to come to church with me? Hey, would you like to come to small group with me? Hey, would you like to come this Wednesday night to my church with me? That's literally all it takes. All you have to do is invite, and God will do the rest. Point blank, period. So invite someone to church, and you won't be saying, I'm scared, they're not going to say yes. Judy hasn't been to church in 10 years. Why do you get to say no for them? So when you start feeling the urge to invite someone to church, but you feeling like they're going to say no, instead, which is easier said than done, say, why not yes? Why not yes? All it takes is one invitation to completely turn someone's life around. Okay, imagine this. You're in heaven one day, and someone says, hey, thanks for inviting me to church. If you didn't invite me to that Easter Sunday, I never would have given my life to Christ, and I never would have been here. I would have been in hell because I was living a sinful lifestyle. And then another person comes up to you and says the same thing, and another person, and another person, and before you realize, all these people are here because you had the courage to just say, would you like to come to church with me? Because I know I want to be in heaven one day, and have someone come up to me and say, hey, thanks for inviting me. And don't you want the same? Anyway, I would like to share a couple scriptures with you. Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. The other one comes from Matthew 5:15, which says, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the reason why I'm sharing this message now about evangelism is because Easter is literally this Sunday, and my hope is that you invite someone to church. And most churches have Instagram, Facebook, etc. So it's easy to share that onto your story or to your Facebook page, whatever, so people can easily see it and be like, hey, we should go to church for Easter this Sunday, or hey, we should just go to church in general. And even if they don't, you can still make a post about it super easily. So do it. Also, you can just ask someone in person, hey, do you want to go to church with me? And do you know what the worst thing that could happen is? They just say no. That's literally it. They just say no. But you know what you did? At least you were bold enough to ask them to go. And you know what? That's all you have to do is ask, do you want to go to church with me? That's literally it. So don't let the fear of someone saying no stop you from being bold enough to ask someone to church. And now is the perfect time to do it because Easter is literally this weekend and most people are looking for a church to go to for the holidays because most people will go to church on Easter and Christmas. That's most time when people go that don't normally go to church. So people are more apt to say yes. So ask them to go to church with you. My prayer is for all of you this week that you ask someone to go to church with you and you don't let the fear stop you and you are bold enough to do so. Thank you all so very much for listening to the Saved by Grace podcast. This has been the Saved by Grace podcast.